StoneFly solutions are designed with ransomware protection as a top priority. That's why our wide range of solutions, including backup and disaster recovery, NAS, SAN, S3 object storage, and cloud, incorporates a built-in ransomware protection suite. In this video, we'll demonstrate the key features of our ransomware protection suite, which include air-gapped and immutable storage options, volume deletion protection, multi-factor authentication, immutable file-level worm, immutable snapshots, and antivirus scanner. Let's explore how these powerful features protect your data against ransomware threats and provide robust protection for your critical information. Stone Fusion offers air-gapped and immutable storage options as a built-in feature. With air-gapped and immutability, backup administrators can protect critical data from ransomware, malware, viruses, and hackers. Air-gapping is a critical security measure ensuring data safety. When we say a system is air-gapped, it means the data within it is isolated, disconnected, and detached from any network or external access. This ensures an added layer of protection, making it immune to ransomware attacks, cyber threats, or unauthorized access. Air-gapping can be implemented at various levels using Stone Fusion. Firstly, we can enable air-gapping on the repository level, ensuring that the backup repository remains isolated, disconnected, and detached from the network. The second option is to extend air-gapping to the controller level. By applying air-gap measures to a specific controller, any repositories associated with that controller are also isolated, disconnected, and detached. The repository level and controller level are internal air-gapping options, which means they are available within the appliance. The third option is node-level air-gapping, which is external and requires a dedicated secondary appliance. With this type of air-gap, the entire node is isolated, disconnected, and unplugged from the network, ensuring maximum isolation and security. In addition to these air-gap options, we offer different repositories supporting air-gapping and immutability. As you can see in this example, several repositories are listed in the Veeam console. Each one represents the different repositories we support. The first one is an air-gapped and immutable repository that's based off of block storage. The second one is an appliance-level air-gapped and immutable repository for the virtual instance of the storage stack. Then we have an air-gapped and immutable file-level repository. The fourth one is an immutable repository that maintains a persistent connection with the Veeam instance. But it's immutable nonetheless, and it is block level. Then we have an iSCSI repository that's integrated to the Veeam server itself. The next one is the Veeam integrated S3 air-gapped immutable repository. We're the only vendor in the market with this capability. With StoneFly's S3 integration, you can leverage both air-gapped and immutable capabilities within an object storage environment. That means it is both isolated and unplugged, and the data stored in it cannot be edited, modified, or deleted for a set retention period. Lastly, we have an appliance-level repository that's not immutable, but it is air-gapped. If we go to Home, and then click Jobs, you can see a list of backup jobs corresponding to the repositories we just discussed. Next, we will demonstrate two distinct internal air-gapping options: repository level and controller level, and the external node-level air-gapping process. Additionally, we will also showcase how automation is facilitated using Veeam integrated job-level triggers. When job starts, the Veeam software disables the air-gap using a job-level trigger, thanks to the StoneFly add-on integrated with Veeam. After disabling the air-gap, Veeam initiates the creation of essential snapshots or incremental backups. We can observe this process as we ping the repository. Initially, we receive a request timed out error. However, as Veeam disables the air-gap, the repository responds to the pings. This response signifies that it has been activated and is now accessible for the backup job. After this process is completed, the air-gap protection is reactivated. We can observe this by pinging the repository. Initially, it responds to the pings, but once the repository is air-gapped and disconnected, it turns to a request timed out error. This workflow applies to any backup job with air-gapping and immutability enabled, whether it's an S3-based repository or one of our block-level immutable repositories. When a repository is air-gapped, it's listed in the Unavailable tab in the Veeam console. In the StoneFusion storage stack, the air-gapped repository's operational status is marked as disabled. This indicates that the repository is disconnected, inaccessible, and secure. Similar to the repository-level air-gapping, the process of implementing controller-level air-gapping starts with a job-level trigger from Veeam to temporarily disable the air-gap. This allows the backup job to proceed. Once the backup job concludes, the job-level trigger is activated again, reinstating the air-gap. When we implement air-gapping at the controller level, it goes beyond just the repository. As shown in the resources summary, even the controller itself is air-gapped and isolated. This isolation is reflected in the controller's status, visible in the resources summary. It's marked as inactive during this state. Furthermore, if this particular controller serves multiple repositories, they too will be air-gapped simultaneously, ensuring comprehensive protection. Now, let's move to the air-gapped appliance. During the backup job, this appliance responds to incoming pings. After the backup task concludes, it automatically powers off through a trigger initiated by Veeam, as indicated by the request timed out error. Because the appliance is powered off, the StoneFusion stack, which is accessible during the backup window, is now protected and inaccessible. Within the Veeam console, following a brief interval, you'll notice the air-gapped appliance marked as unavailable. This signifies that even Veeam can no longer establish communication with it. It's important to emphasize that this is a true physical air-gapping process. Unlike the concept of logical air-gapping, where data remains separated but accessible, here, the appliance is completely powered off. What's more, it becomes entirely inaccessible through the network. And finally, the storage stack itself, which is the StoneFusion OS, becomes entirely unreachable. Volume deletion protection is a crucial feature in StoneFusion that offers enhanced security at the volume level. When enabled, volume deletion protection overrides the option to delete a volume completely. Even users with administrator rights are unable to delete the protected volume, ensuring its preservation. To demonstrate this feature, let's navigate to the volume summary, and select the desired volume. Then click Configure Volume. Here, you can see that the volume is deletion protection enabled, meaning it cannot be deleted. The only authorized channel to delete a protected volume is by contacting StoneFly support. Once a deletion request is initiated, it undergoes a validation process involving authorization steps. StoneFly support reaches out to the authorized personnel, requiring at least 2 different authorized individuals to confirm the request. Only after this validation process is complete, an override code for deletion protection is provided. After validating the request from the authorized personnel, we would request the deletion protection override code. Once generated, this code is entered in the input field, and upon submission, the system disables the volume deletion protection for that particular volume. Upon returning to the summary screen, you would be able to delete the volume successfully. As you can see in this example, a number of volumes on the summary screen cannot be deleted. This indicates that these volumes are also volume deletion protection enabled. It's important to highlight that when a volume is deletion protected, any associated entities like snapshots or replica images are automatically subjected to volume deletion protection as well. While natural retention processes can still be applied by the system, user-driven delete operations are strictly prohibited when volume deletion protection is enabled. The volume deletion protection feature provides a robust defense against accidental or unauthorized deletion attempts, ensuring the integrity and security of your data. StoneFusion offers multi-factor authentication, MFA, at the user level, providing an additional layer of security to your data. Go to System, then Users, and click Summary. Two-factor authentication can be enabled or disabled on the user level. The best practice is to have MFA enabled for all users. When it is applied to the user, the login screen prompts the user for an additional TFA token and it will not allow them to log in without it. When you have MFA enabled, nearly all administrative tasks on the system, including anything that will create, modify, or delete an entity-level item such as a volume, snapshot, or replica image, requires a TFA PIN. MFA is a must-have security feature that we always recommend when we're setting up Stone Fusion for a client environment. File-level worm allows you to ensure data security and compliance by creating immutable files within a designated retention period. To enable file-level worm, you have two options. 1. Either enable worm for a current volume or create a new file-level volume specifically for this purpose. Let's begin by navigating to the NAS tab, selecting Volumes, then Summary, and then clicking on the respective volume you wish to work with. Select the desired volume, and then choose the retention mode, which can be either Relaxed or Enterprise. With the Relaxed mode, you have the flexibility to increase or decrease the retention span according to your needs. However, with the Enterprise mode, you can only extend the retention span and not decrease it. The auto-commit interval refers to the polling interval, determining how frequently the system verifies and commits changes to ensure immutability. On the other hand, the retention period specifies how long the data will remain immutable within the volume. By leveraging the file-level worm feature, organizations requiring compliance and enhanced data security can easily create NAS volumes dedicated to storing critical information such as invoices, financial data, or any other relevant documentation. This ensures that the data remains compliant and immutable throughout the configured retention period. With StoneFusion's file-level worm, you have the assurance that your sensitive data is protected and cannot be modified, deleted, or tampered with, meeting regulatory requirements and maintaining data integrity. Whether you need to adhere to industry regulations or safeguard critical information, file-level worm provides the necessary security measures to ensure the longevity and immutability of your data. Snapshots play a crucial role in data protection and recovery in StoneFusion. First, let's create a NAS segment. Navigate to the NAS tab, select Volumes, then Segment, and click on Segment Create. Provide a name for the segment, choose Manual Create, allocate the desired capacity, and click Submit. Once the NAS segment is created, we can proceed to create a NAS volume. Go to NAS, Volumes, Create New Volume, and then click Allocate. In the NAS volume creation section, specify a name for the volume. Choose whether to export it via CIFS or NFS, both supported for immutable snapshots, and click Submit. After the NAS volume is created, the next step is to create snapspace for it. Go to the SAN tab, select Volumes, Configure Volumes, Manage Snapshot, and click on General. From the drop-down, select the newly created NAS volume and click Create Snapspace. Here, you can designate the capacity for snapshots. It is recommended to allocate at least 20% of the NAS volume size, or more, depending on the change rate. After allocating the size, click Submit. In the event of snapspace running out of space, you can manually expand it or configure the system's behavior automatically. Choose between preserving the live volume or preserving the snapshot. Preserving the live volume allows writing to the volume but prevents taking snapshots until snapspace is manually expanded. Preserving the snapshot discontinues writes to the volume, locking it down. Now, let's proceed to create the snapshots. Go back to the NAS tab, select Volumes, Summary, click Snap Management, and then General. Choose the newly created volume from the drop-down and click Enable Snapshots. In the General tab, you can immediately take a manual snapshot if needed and set the snapspace full write behavior as discussed earlier. In the Schedule tab, you have the flexibility to schedule monthly, weekly, daily, or hourly cycles according to your requirements. The system allows for granular control over the timing and retention of snapshots. In the Details tab, you will find a list of all the snapshots. Since we just created the volume in this example, there are no snapshots yet. Let's create one manually by providing a snapshot name and clicking Take Snapshot. Confirm when prompted. The snapshot count will update accordingly. Accessing a snapshot volume for file recovery or volume restoration follows the same UNC path as the original volume, with the addition of a leading slash followed by the snapshot name. Users need the name of the specific snapshot from the administrator. As long as they have access to the original volume, They will also have access to its snapshots. Remember that snapshots are immutable, meaning users can only read and restore from them. Modifying or deleting snapshots during the retention period is not possible. StoneFusion allows for a maximum of 64 snapshots per volume and a total of 8 snap-enabled volumes per appliance. These limits can be adjusted based on the change rate and client preferences, considering the available system resources. Furthermore, an optional Veeam agent is available within StoneFusion, allowing administrators to configure virtually unlimited incremental backups as required. The Veeam agent operates independently, utilizing its own change block tracking system and running locally on the appliance for faster backups with minimal latency. Alternatively, the Veeam agent can be installed on a network-connected appliance if desired. StoneFly solutions empower administrators to leverage a lightweight scanner, detecting dormant ransomware and quarantining threats before they impact your business. In environments with multiple NFS or CIFS clients, handling individual antivirus clients can be cumbersome. Our built-in antivirus scanner simplifies this by allowing administrators to scan the entire contents of NAS volumes on demand. Additionally, automatic background scans can be set up for continuous protection. With periodic updates from the Cisco antivirus database, our antivirus engine keeps your system fortified against the latest threats. These updates happen automatically, so you can focus on your core tasks without worrying about manual updates. When the scanner detects files that match known virus definitions, it takes prompt action by quarantining them. As a storage administrator, you have the flexibility to delete or restore these quarantined files as needed, putting you in complete control. Handling this security process at the NAS level minimizes overhead, simplifies management, and enhances overall efficiency. This feature comes standard, seamlessly integrated within the system. To enable the antivirus scanner, head to NAS, click on Antivirus, and choose AV Configurations, Status. From there, select the desired NAS volume and enable real-time scanning or run a manual scan right away. For consistent protection, you can schedule periodic scans for specific volumes. With the AV Scan Schedule tab, set up hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly antivirus scans tailored to your needs. Stay informed about the antivirus engine status in the AV Engine Information section, displaying the antivirus version, main database version, and other crucial system details. The antivirus scanner stands as a vital component within StoneFly Solutions' integrated ransomware protection suite. Designed to shield your critical assets from evolving cyber threats, it reinforces your security measures with proactive defense. For details, contact sales@stonefly.com.